I'm excited to do Bastion again. There's a lot of little things that I wanted to talk about, that I wanted to meditate upon, and I couldn't because I just couldn't. I don't know. I was just a bit taken by the fact that everything seems to be so researched. They know what they're talking about. The whole thing about the Arbiter.
Here, mortal. This teleporter will convey you to the ring of transference.
Yeah, we're just transferring. We're just anima. This is not a physical reality. This is just mental. Where we can just like turn into anima and just go anywhere. Going to talk to you, Kane. Yes.
You are welcome in Oribos.
Your path and that of the purpose are becoming one. Within the Arbiter's chamber are gateways to the infinite realms of the Shadowlands. Infinite realms. As each soul was judged, gateway would be open to the appropriate afterlife. So everybody goes to the place they have imagined, or to the place they, you know, they sort of deserve in some way. Maybe a new school, maybe a new place to learn, to have experiences. So, you know, for example, the Nordic people, if they believe that they would go to a place where they would see Valkyries, wow, that's so cool. That's a Kyrian in action. How am I seeing a Kyrian in action over there? He's carrying like one of those pulpera thingies. I didn't know this was like live. They're doing the quest probably, and it's like, that's so cool. Okay, a gateway would be open to the appropriate afterlife. So yeah, any afterlife that one can think of. Probably there's a world created, just like there are communities and collectives. And for example, Revendred is one, and they want to be vampires, so they live like vampires. Got to be infinite realms is right here. There's no lore BS, no anything like that. It's right here, infinite realms of the Shadowlands. So the Shadowlands is not, there are 4 covenants within the Shadowlands, but there are infinite realms. So there's much more to the Shadowlands than we could even begin to imagine. Well, what Kasher was saying is quite interesting. We're speaking about this idea of infinite worlds. And now, of course, most people think, you know, we think we know everything about the Shadowlands, and you know, it's just a stupid narrative, it's whatever. But everybody thinks that the Shadowlands are just 4 covenants, just, you know, Bastion, and then the Maldraxxus, and Revendred, and Ardenworld. And it's like, no, he said it right there. There's infinite realms in the Shadowlands. But let's not even call it Shadowlands, let's just call it, you know, reality, the universe, whatever it is. There are multiplicity of worlds, and this is one of the aspects that I thought it was so curious about the whole expansion and all this city, that it has such strange architecture. As I've been saying, it's just like a Coruscant for all these souls, just coming in straight to the mall now, sadly. But in their original function, they would arrive to this Coruscant, to this terminal Oribos, this eternal city, which, as I was speaking about in the previous video, just going through these weird structures where, I don't know, I'm figuring out that there are arbiters for everyone, or there's like the one arbiter, or this is just an illusion. As I said, we travel through anima. This eternal city, everything we see here It's not physical reality, but more of a dream. And all these structures, when you go and meet the Arbiter, I couldn't record when I was, but I took some pictures. I'm gonna put it again, maybe. You see all infinite structures like this all around, which are these enclaves, these little strange architectural places. From then, after the judgment, quote-unquote judgment, which is like a life review that the Arbiter does on each of their lives, depending on what they did with their mortal life. I hate that I cannot go over there. I can't go over there, Christ. Whatever they did, they are sent to these pathways to an eternal afterlife, to somewhere else, somewhere perhaps. You know, as I start to hypothesize about these things, there are two possibilities for reality. One is the mortal worlds are a place to learn, are a place to understand, are a place to experience, but mainly a place to learn. Learn what? Well, that maybe is for another video. But certainly people have experiences in these mortal worlds. This is why the Arbiter, when she goes into your life review, she goes through every folly, every joy, and every regret. Why does she do that? Why? Number one, experience. Number two, to judge, to see what you did. The second option is everything is pure experience. There's no learning, there's no anything, there's just whatever experience you want to have as an individual soul, as an individual part of consciousness. That's what you can do. And the physical world is perhaps limited to a certain degree of opportunities. What about the infinite worlds of the Shadowlands? You know, if these people wanted to be vampires living in a gothic enclave somewhere in the Shadowlands, and some other people wanted to be blue angels looking for even deeper mysteries within the whole of creation, which is this cool concept that this expansion is managing, as I was speaking about in the previous video. I was speaking about how there's a difference between the imagined heaven of Bastion and of the Kyrian, which is like the paradise of like the Greek people and the Christian people, and then there's the reality of the multiverses, which is something completely detached from that traditional idea of heaven and paradise. It has to do more with energy and mainly this creation of infinite worlds. This is why I made a video where I spoke about these alien-like figures, which are the people in Oribos, which are not really people. They are just essences. They are just intelligences, just manifesting on a humanoid form. Perhaps for us to understand it, because it's only the mortals from Azeroth who are here in this eternal city in physical form. We are the only physical beings here in Oribos. That's pretty cool to try to understand. I wonder if they will go on with this and like make different worlds within the Shadowlands. This is an amazing conceptualization of reality. And now, I think, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with this channel. I think I'm just gonna keep it as my blog or something like that. I do want to go with the whole series for Beyond the Lore, but maybe I'll just give cues to anyone who may be watching this video. Do some research on altered states of consciousness. This idea of multiverses, we think of it as dead, but there's a lot of literature, hidden literature, and not so hidden anymore. There are documentaries about it. there's a high chance that the multiverse theory is true. And what is there for us after life? On the afterlife, is it rest, playing a musical instrument on a cloud in Bastion? Is it the purgatory city that is Revendred? Or is it an endless possibility of worlds? I think it's the latter. You made it so far. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.